You're gonna want to hear this. The following is guaranteed to knock your ears right off. Not intended for the faint of heart.
And we're on. Hello, Matt.
Hello, Liam.
You're on Lounging Around with your host, Liam Saranich, and my co-host, Bree.
Hi.
Bree's late. Matt.
Hey.
And we have Jack again for the
Part 2.
fourth time in a row.
Thank you for having me again.
Yeah. I hate this guy.
Clearly.
This guy has an open schedule, huh?
Loser.
What are you doing on the weekend? Nothing. Oh!
Monday, Wednesday.
Yeah.
Glad you can make room for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, my busy schedule, of course.
Yeah, I got sleeping.
In your rambunctious schedule of fun and games.
Yep, that's all it is.
You got nothing serious on there, huh?
Yeah, you should see my calendar. It's all just like fun and games.
It's
all
like
the whole
it's
time.
like clown games from 5 to 6.
Pinball at 6. Dodgeball at 8.
What are we doing, Matt?
Today we are continuing the past conversation from the last episode because it ended off on a disagreement.
What did it end off? I can't remember how it ended off.
It was a disagreement between meta ethics, which is basically what is good or bad, instead of applied ethics.
And we're starting off with that, right? Or what are we starting off with?
Well, I wanted to. Well, we'll maybe start off with that. We'll see during the break, or I could just try to find everyone's moral ground position first.
All right.
Opening
So I know that's what you wanted.
Yeah.
I know that's what you wanted to do. Find a moral grounds first. So, off the bat, I feel like me and Bree are gonna have the same.
You guys are gonna have the same.
Almost the same.
I mean, she believes in the big GO. The big GOD.
The big go.
What does it stand for?
I don't want to say the last one.
I want to summon him.
I don't want to.
The big GO. The big go. All right. Well, we're just doing a quick intro, and then we'll be right back with Bree, and yeah, we'll start the show. Be right back. And we're back. Hello, Matt.
Hello, Liam.
Oh, hi, Bree.
Hi, Liam.
Thanks for being on time.
I'm on time to everything.
Yeah.
Clearly.
No.
At work, they take bets seeing what time I'm going to get there.
Jesus, that's a good sign.
He's a moneymaker.
Yeah.
Where are they placing these bets? Are they of legal
Are these
authority?
sanctioned?
Yeah, they're on that app.
Yeah, I don't want to sanction illegal activities.
Yep.
It's fine.
All right.
I showed up on time. They were all very surprised. They all lost.
Well, I'm shocked that you're
Nobody
late.
bet on the correct time.
No, because I'm always late.
Well,
That's a good sign for when you're older and actually have a real job.
Yeah,
Idiots.
they're not going to like me very much.
Yeah. Hi, Jackie.
Hello.
All right, Matt, let's start.
all right. Well, last time we ended off, right? We were talking about meta ethics, which is the way in which we view what's good and bad, not how they're applied to situations, right? That'd be applied ethics versus meta ethics. And
Keep talking.
Jack and I had a disagreement, right, about our worldviews. So I wanted to first get what everyone's moral framework really is, right? So I'll start with like a question, and it'll lead us off into 2 different groups. And another question might lead us off like 4 different groups or whatever. But so the first question is, do you guys think that moral statements propose truth within them?
You dumb that down.
Yeah, I don't know what we're talking about.
All right. So for me to say stealing is wrong,
Yep.
there's a truth to that. That stealing is like objectively wrong, right?
Yep.
There's like a bit of like, or is it just like what I believe in? That, boo stealing.
Yeah, we talked about this before. I said stealing is fine as long as it's in the betterment of someone else. But I also said that, I mean, The other hand is I also believe that if we just start allowing one person to steal, that multiple people will steal. So I don't know. Like
I think it's wrong.
Yeah. So you think there is like a truth to it? Like
Yeah.
objectively, like stealing will always be wrong.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I agree with that. It's just I just feel like there's that 1% that needs to steal, and then there's that like 99 that just
Yeah,
steal
okay.
just cause.
Is it okay if he's stealing to feed his kids? Like, yes, I understand why. That doesn't make it right, though.
They should have gotten money.
Go get a job.
No, yeah.
But
so.
this is going to be objectively true in all circumstances. I mean, obviously, like you could weigh like the sides, but true, like stealing is objectively not to like some people, but like will always be wrong.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
And Jack, what would you say? Yes or no? To
I think I'm gonna give you a long-winded answer.
sure.
I think in the sense of like the universe, right, and nature, I don't think right and wrong are quote unquote real or true, right? But in viewing things through our brain, right, because our brain creates our reality, that's true. I think that's true. I think our moral intuitions do represent truth within us. Not necessarily. I don't think it's maybe like truth in the universal sense, but maybe
not
it's
like truth objectively.
in the sense of like universally you can say good or bad, but I think it reflects something within us that we can say is real or not. So it's like within us. I have a very like human centric sort of view on these things. Like I think in the grand scheme of the universe, saying something's good or bad or right or wrong, it's really not. Nothing matters. There's no meaning.
Yeah. So absurdism.
Yes, that's kind of how I feel about things in the true empirical sense. But when I look at like life and society and stuff, I look through the lens of human perception.
Yeah. So basically, what I'm getting at is that you think things are objectively true by our standards of which we view them, but in the universal standpoint, nothing's really objectively true. In the good and bad sense.
Facts of science, I would say, could be objectively true. But morals are no.
Yeah.
Because they're determined by the human brain.
Well, yeah, I think they're two different objectivities, right?
So you took
sure.
the...
But there really is one real one, though.
You took the nothing's real, but everything's real.
Well, no, I'm saying like through our lens, it's real. But in the grand scheme of like the universe, it's not. It's not like a real thing. True or good or bad, true or false. Except like hard science facts.
Yeah, hard science facts. Whatever that is.
What's your opinion, Matt?
Mine?
Yeah.
I'd say.
I was looking on ChatGPT right now.
No.
What? You're
Not
your
a-
answers from there?
Not a good
No.
look.
I was using that to get the basis for every other argument.
He's like, this is like what I need.
Because I wanted to ask another question after. But my position was that there is truth to like what we're saying, but the truth is going to be subjective in nature. So there's like double layers of truth, right? Or there's layers of things being real, right? So we could say, I'm going to bring it to like a scientific example, where this table is real, right? I'm not going to go around my life saying this table isn't real, but what the problem of induction stands on is that, right, we're basing this off of logic that the past will resemble the future, right? So if I touch this table, my hand's not going to go through this, right? Because I've done it 100 times, and it's never going to work. Unless we do this an infinite amount of times, we can't know if anything else will actually happen. As seen with the example with, like, a bag, right? You keep taking out, like, white cloth. The whole bag's going to be white cloth. But deep down, we don't really actually know if there's a blue cloth in there or something else is going to happen within this scientific interaction or whatever.
Yeah.
But, right, so there's that first layer of truth where it is real. But the second layer of realism is where if we actually know it's really real, and that's the part where we can't really know. And the other part to that is like, you can't really know if you could trust your senses, right? So you don't know if you're just like a brain in a vat being stimulized by like some doctors or something, creating this whole reality as a bit of a spiel. But
Yeah.
so
you can kind of say that like but in that sense, I know what you're saying. But from there, you could extrapolate to say that anything that we perceive to be real, anything as clear as day as it possibly can be, it's still a gamble at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Even if you're 99.99% sure, you don't know because you haven't lived infinitely.
Yeah. That's basically what I'm saying.
What?
Like, I know what you mean. I get the point, but it's like, I don't, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's hard to, like,
It's
look
not
at
pragmatic.
life. Yeah, it's hard to, like, look at life through
Yeah,
that lens.
I agree. It's not pragmatic, but it's my.
It's technically true. It's technically, yeah. You can't disprove that.
And that's, any objections?
I'm so lost.
I don't understand what you heard something about like a bat of acid in Gotham City.
We need our own podcast, Matt.
What's going on here?
Table touching it 100 times.
Yeah, I don't even know. I'm trying to be on your wavelength, bro.
All right.
Not
Maybe
going
it's
there.
easier if I just read off like the definition, right? Because what I believe in
Definition
is
of what?
probably very close to what you believe in, Jack. Right?
Well, it's interesting because you call anything through the lens of, like, the human brain, you say that's subjective, which I understand. But I think there are objectivities within the brain.
Like what? Oh no.
Well, I'm saying, like, human reactions to certain things are not always. I think when I think of subjective, I mean, like, I think of completely dependent and different between individuals.
Can you like explain what you
Like
said?
dumb it down a little
and,
bit as hard as I can.
as hard
All right.
as you possibly
Right.
can.
So what?
Because I understand,
Okay.
but the people that don't understand.
yeah, true. Right. I have table, right?
You have a table.
I have table.
You have table.
I know that my hand is never going to go through this table.
That's true.
But why do I know this? Right? What's the logic to why I know this? Which is going to be, I have to presuppose that the past is going to resemble the future, right? We do this with like scientific observations, you know, whatever. My hand is definitely not going through this because I've done it 100 million times, or whatever, how many. But I'm going to bring this to the example with the bag again, right?
Yes.
Every test I do with this table is like taking a cloth out of a bag, right? My hand didn't go through it. White cloth. My hand didn't go through it. White cloth. Out of the bag, right? These are all testable. And then if I'm not able to do that an infinite number of times, right, I can't know for certain what's actually going to happen 100% of the time unless, you know, you do it an infinite number of times, right? There could be a blue cloth in the bag.
On the 100 billionth hole.
Yeah, you go through.
Yeah.
So is there any questions before I continue on from there?
So, like, I mean, I get what you're saying so far. I just don't
What
know.
does that have to do with stealing?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, it's tied in better.
Yeah,
I will say you got to tie it in.
because I'm trying to I'm trying to be with you here, but you're really not like helping your case with this.
I know. This is the scientific framework for where we have arbitrary values from, right? And I'm saying that we do this all the time. And so we arbitrarily say everything's real, even though we deep down know it's not real, is what I'm trying to get out. Or we don't know if it's real or not deep down. But we have to continue like it's real in order to continue like being human or whatever.
Yeah.
Not being real. And I'm going to say this is the same thing for morals, right? Where we have to basically say everything's real, like morally speaking, like objectively, you know, stealing's bad, murder's bad, everything. But deep down, it all breaks down to nothing's actually like good or bad. We just subjectively make it like that.
You're just kind of like
What's going on?
You're like basically saying to me, I think this, you said this before to me, and I think it's just completely stupid. You're saying that nothing matters because it's all relative. That life, things and objects have meaning because we just give a meaning, and that
Well, not things and objects.
just like rules and
we start with base assumptions on life.
and you're basically kind of saying like that's just how it is. Like life, it's just stupid.
Yeah,
He's saying it's just momentary pattern recognition rather than some infinite law. Of
Yeah,
the
because that's what. Yeah, so no, I think that like things like without like simple laws and rules, we're kind of just going like, screw it. Let's just do what
Free
we
range.
want. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is that we have to say something's real, or else it's just going to be absurd.
But you're
So you're
saying
laws have to be real, or we're just gonna go crazy, right? That's what you're
Yeah.
trying to say.
Yeah, base assumptions, like
yeah,
base
he's saying
assumptions,
objectively, like this needs to happen objectively,
Yeah.
like laws and stuff like that. But like in theory, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Kind of something like that.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. So you're wrong.
Oh, you got me good.
I think he's right. In theory, nothing matters.
Sure, I guess in theory, like if you really want to go.
Wait,
to
then how'd you just say I was wrong if you just said sure?
I mean, we're all just
Why
matter at the
doesn't
end
it
of the
matter
day.
though?
Because we're all just
Because
matter.
I can go down the street.
It
and
doesn't.
I can go down the street and ask for my buddy Chad for a shot of H, and then I go, bah, and then what? And I'm dead, and then nothing matters because I'll be energies and cells and dispersed everywhere else again. Who is that?
Who's this gorilla talking?
Just trying to add in.
Dude, this guy over here is just like, everyone can hear me, right? No one hears you.
Someone give him some long grass.
Right. All right. I could take another way. There's another way to get to where I'm coming from, which is easier to.
like in
No, we
your
understand where you're coming
no,
from.
I understand exactly where you're coming from. But in your theory, I could just take your head and smash in the table and kill you, and then that's
Yeah.
end of the
That's
theory.
just it.
I mean, it doesn't matter at the end of the day if you do that.
Yeah,
like in
that's
the
the-
universal sense.
Apparently, I could just do what I want.
In the
just-
human life
who
sense,
cares?
it does matter.
I
That's where
lost.
my
I'll just
perspective
take the L
comes
on
in.
that one.
We both lost.
Well, then you have to presuppose that you want to value human life,
Right, which
right?
I'm doing.
Yeah, but yeah. So we're both quasi real.
But I think some of that is objective within the human brain, how it functions. Some of it.
Like, what do you mean the
Like,
some
I
of
think,
it is
like,
subjective?
oh, you know what I mean? Wanting to protect babies and stuff. So when you see like horrible stuff that happens to a baby, it's not like, oh, I learned that that's bad. Yeah, within
Yeah.
life, within literally biochemistry. That's an objective, real thing.
Yeah, but why should
That's
it
not just
be-
like some pattern psychology thing. That's like, no, it's molecules that are there and doing this thing.
So it is under science then. It's not what's in your head. It's just science.
Well, yeah, but that's science.
Yeah, but then you have to say, right, evolutionarily speaking, we've evolved that way, right? To be, protective.
Yeah.
So then does that mean later on, if we evolve to say kill our babies for whatever reason, that would be objective?
But it would be, obviously the drive would be objective, but I think generally the tendency for people to, because there are odd cases where you get skewed and you have like religion screwing stuff up.
Okay.
But I think in the grand sense of
Let's
Bro, I can't even-
no
I'm saying like killing babies is like literally antithetical to fitness, right, for a species. But you can have weird stuff like religions clouding that. Hence the situation in the Middle East. But I'm saying at the end of the day, people are still going to have reactions to that. It's still going to be a meaningful thing. No one's ever going to look at a decapitated baby and like not have an emotional reaction.
Yeah,
That's
no.
objective.
That's
That's objective.
All right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So does that mean you said not an emotional reaction, right? So are you saying are you an expressivist, which means that you are that's an emotivist, sorry. Emotivist where you say people's moral propositions are based on their emotions,
Well, it's based on intuition, I would say.
right? And then
Which
you're
are
saying intuition
emotional a lot
is
of the
then objective?
Like I would say the things that make you have that intuition are objective.
What? The things are real or the things themselves are objective?
What do you mean by the things?
Like all right, so
the
what are
things.
you
I'm like,
guys
which is
doing?
that?
Yeah, right. You're saying that the intuition is objective, but the things that are from the intuition aren't objective.
The things,
Like the values that you're trying to promote, like protecting people. Like
some of them are objective, some of them are not, and the volume can be turned up on certain ones. I think.
how do you determine which ones are objective and which ones aren't?
It's just that's just preference at that point.
Well, it's like
No,
certain cultural
because then
things.
that would make
Right.
it subjective.
Okay, there's like I'll give you two
no, 'cause
examples.
it's preference. Because I could be more upset about like animals dying than some other people, or I could be more upset about people dying than some other people because of this and that, and it's all objective.
Good
really.
point. Two examples on the opposite ends.
Yeah.
Decapitated baby versus like someone eating with their hands.
Yeah, exactly.
Like in any culture, decapitated baby, someone is going to react to that.
Yeah.
That is true and objective. In one culture, if you eat with your hands, they'll react. In another, they won't at all.
Because in India, like they don't have toilet paper. They wipe with their left hand. Like they wipe their butt with their left hand. And so that you're not allowed to touch other people with your left hand or shake their hand. Like you're supposed to use only your right hand for everything else. So it's like that's like what you're just saying there. Mm-hmm. Like,
so you're saying it's more relative?
No, I'm saying it's objective, really, to like what you perceive as bad or good. Like there's people that are upset about animals being slaughtered every day, and they're more upset about an animal being slaughtered than person getting shot and killed in the Middle East.
I think it depends on the moral claim.
Yeah, so there's some people going like, protect the cows, and there's some people who are like, protect the people, and there's more people that are like more animals because it's like it's cruelty, blah blah blah. But it's all objective, really. Like in actuality, it's whatever someone's moral standings are. That's kind of like the wrongdoings of that one person. Like I could like burp in front of someone and Jack loses his mind, but that's just Jack's moral compass getting upset by something. Not
so you're arguing for his point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's subjectively objective.
Yeah, I'm saying I'm saying it's like I'm saying it doesn't matter in actuality the masses of what everyone else like. It doesn't matter like what everyone thinks. It matters what one person thinks, really. And that one person has a different morals than the next person, because no one ever is going to have the carbon copy of the same morals, because there's always going to be that one thing that's like, well, I don't like when you bite your nails that way. You should bite it that way.
So he's a relative. He's on your side.
Yeah,
so,
he's on my side.
Arguing your point.
You were like, yeah, good point.
No, I didn't say I wasn't agreeing with you. I just was going after Jackie.
Well, no, you are agreeing with him.
Yeah. So what do you have to say about that, Jackie?
I think there are some things which are much more subjective, right, and vary from culture to culture. But there are things that are constant across cultures and people, I think, such as incest. You know, people being put off by incest.
Yeah, that's like that's like a gypsy, like that's gypsy stuff. Like.
What are you talking about?
No, but that's what they do. Like they marry their cousins and their sisters and brothers, and that's a thing that happens in America.
If
that's not,
look it
up.
Let me just say this: if a group of people did that enough, they would eventually die out.
There's
but
literally
is that
a
bad?
show on TLC.
Like in the grand scheme of what do you mean? Universally or through the human lens?
There's a show on TLC where
both.
There's
universally.
I guess if you're
and they've married their
universally
cousins.
no,
Do they?
right?
Yeah.
Universally
And then-
no.
I've seen a
But
bunch of
then
episodes.
presupposing that you value all human life, yes.
But it's also like they can do what they want.
But again, that's
You know what I mean?
it's objective.
All right, so you're-
it's objective.
are you
it's,
not
it's what
on our
Jack
side?
thinks is good and what's evil. Like Jack might
It's
like.
not just me, dude. Go in any
No,
culture,
no,
like
I'm
no one's
saying-
gonna advocate for like.
No, I'm saying in general, like it's by the individual, really. Like there's going to be some commonalities between everyone else, but
How are you not, by everything you just said, outlining subjectivity?
I don't know what he just said. I couldn't-
You're basically saying that everyone's moral intuitions are completely subjective and based on their experience, what they've learned through the
Yeah,
culture and stuff
100%.
like
All right,
that.
can I give a good
Do
analogy?
marry their cousins.
Oh,
They want to preserve their like culture.
yeah, gypsies. That's what I was saying. Like, because that's.
I mean,
like,
that's what they
I
were
was
doing.
just giving that as an example of like a group that does that happens
Right,
in
right.
America.
But there's also like a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of on top stuff like religion, like tradition and stuff that skews these things. But I think at the end of the day, there still is there's so one of the things that attracts people to each other is you literally pick up on immune signaling from them and see you get like a kind of a signal about their immune profile. And that makes people more attracted to someone. When girls
What's the
when girls are
immune-
not on birth
Yeah.
control, they're
Yeah.
more sensitive to those effects.
Yeah.
What is like this immune? Can you explain that? I don't.
Yeah, so basically every cell in your body expresses MHC, major histocompatibility complex, which holds up from your cell different pathogens that are in that cell, viruses, etc. And there's some way that it's not fully understood. There's some way that signaling occurs between people through what's thought pheromones are a big hypothesis, and people that are attracted to each other, or people tend to be more attracted to people that are expressing different pathogens / viruses than they are, because that suggests that they have different immunity than you do, and through doing so, you broaden your child's immunity. When you mate with someone that's related to you, first of all, you're not going to be as attracted to them through pheromonal signaling, right? You're going to be put off by them. And part of that goes down to you have the same immune system, you have the same antibodies, or a lot of the same ones, so you're not going to be as attracted to them. That's objective. That's molecular chemistry. It's biochemistry. And yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think it's like a kind of a non sequitur, right? That I think it's where you're saying, it's objective because biology, right? It's objective that we have this, and this. We are unattracted to people with like our same immune systems, right? And then what's to say that we should even follow what biology says at all, right?
But we have no choice. We're biological creatures. We're not choosing to follow it.
Yeah, but like something like instincts or something, that doesn't make it like objective.
If you're not choosing to follow it,
yeah,
and it's built into your biochemistry, I think it is objective.
It is objective?
If you're not... You know what I mean? If it's built into your biochemistry, you're not choosing to follow it. You can't help it because it's a part of the way your brain's constructed. I think it's objective.
So
it's about matter. You're
something that is
about
subconscious
matter.
Is objective then?
Wait, say it again?
Something that is subconscious is objective because it's biologically uncontrollable.
To the extent to which it is possible across different people, it's objective. That's what I'm saying. And it is.
What?
The subconscious.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is. The subconscious is objective. And it does vary from person to person, depending on a lot of things.
Id, ego, superego.
But it's also like the thing that really screws this whole conversation up is psychology. Psychology really throws a whole wrench in it.
Oh, of course.
Because it separates material from conceptual.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it really throws a wrench in the whole thing. But once you understand, I mean, it's hard for anyone to understand fully this link. I don't think you can. But the connection between psychology and like matter biochemistry, you understand it perfectly.
Yeah.
That's really where the link is. Some people think there isn't a link. Do you think our consciousness is given to us by God, etc.? I believe it could theoretically, by some super genius AI, could be understood. Right?
Yeah,
we don't have that capacity.
Bree believes in God giving her whatever.
Yeah.
Yep. So do many people.
Yeah.
God giving what?
Her personality.
Oh, that's good.
Conscious, whatever it is.
Soul.
Yeah, I hope he takes it away from me right here.
Well, I hope he's here to protect you.
Oh, start calling.
Better start praying.
Please. Right. I think we generally agree, right? You agree universally. It's all
nothing matters.
Mishmash.
Yeah.
But then the other thing that we disagree on is
Bree
that
agrees.
No, I don't.
all right, hold on, Bree. You have to. You're against us, right?
Yeah.
What part is against that? Like we could
Wait,
say
hold
that
on.
Nothing matters.
Pause for a second. I was only arguing for a second about what you were doing because I was just explaining more of what you were saying in a dumber tone. Do I think that things like? Do I think objectively things matter to a single person? Probably not. I don't really care about that stuff. It's like I'm gonna have my opinion. You're gonna have your opinion on something. Great.
All right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. What if I stabbed you? Like, you know what I mean?
That's your
Yeah,
opinion.
I mean,
No, that's an actual argument. That's a point I made. Please don't shove it off. Like, please encounter
That's
it.
your truth.
Yeah.
like if you stab me,
Yeah.
like you
I mean,
stab
Like,
me,
that's a true thing. Like, I'm
I-
like,
look,
you know.
and then
boys will be boys.
I'll be like,
So true.
I'll be like, boys be boys, and then I'll get your money, and then I'll get your insurance.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
What did you say?
There's there's something that I want to conflate. Actually, hold on. Wait, first we were gonna attack you.
Why? Yes.
All right. We'll skip it for now. I'll just go back to it a little later. But no.
You can question me if you want.
Yeah, put it on the spot.
Yeah. All right. Are you a presuppositionalist?
I don't know
Which
what that
means that you have you presuppose God and then start taking from the Bible to prove that God exists.
I guess.
Right. I'm gonna base this. Do you take your moral example from God or no?
Yes.
You do, right? So, all right. So if you take your moral example from God, right, how do you solve a claim where, right, there's person A, he says, I believe in God, and God told me murder is wrong. And then person B says, I believe in God, and God told me murder is right. You know, how do you solve this moral disagreement, do you
You
think?
go to the Bible, I guess.
You'd go to the Bible?
Yeah, I'd be like, well,
But-
where does God... It says, like, in the commandments, like, thou shalt not kill. So why
Mm-hmm.
are you saying God told you to kill?
Well, they believe in two different gods or two different. But you're just saying you believe in the right one, right? Out of all of them.
I mean, I'd like to think so, yeah. But everyone has their own god.
Yeah, so
everyone thinks they're doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so then everyone thinks they're doing the right thing, right?
Yeah.
Right. Would that not then keep going into everyone believes in the subjective morality, right? If everyone believes they're doing the right thing.
What he's basically saying is, does everyone believe in their own like viewpoints as the right one instead of
yes,
like
everyone believes that, but
Yeah.
I'm not. I understand that, but I'm disagreeing with the thing that you said that like it doesn't matter at the end. Like it's just the world.
Right.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
Oh, you don't agree with that?
No. Like I understand with the whole like it's subjective of like someone's personal thing, but like there is a underlining agreement between everyone. I feel like with like
I'd say there's an overall subjective.
I think
objective.
everyone can agree murder's bad unless you're Ted Bundy.
All right, let's go down this rabbit hole. Right.
Thank you.
I'm just arguing for both sides.
I know.
Everyone's
Yeah.
like, thanks.
Pick a side, man.
Right. Yeah, no one's gonna say that, but deep down we all know that it's all malarkey. It doesn't really mean
What,
anything.
murder?
Yeah.
Oh, you're literally a psychopath.
What?
Look at you.
I do value it though.
And I think
but
that comes down to perception through the human brain.
Yeah,
There are
so that-
specific brain areas that predispose us to the golden rule. It's not because some religion created it. It's like, no, there's brain areas that
there's-
evolved, so we would behave like that.
So
it is an objective biochemical.
but there's also like things with like people that commit murder. The reason they commit murder is because the frontal lobe is just like activities almost like turned off there completely. So they have no remorse or feeling of guilt when they murder someone. So of course that person's gonna have a type of way, because they're genetically off than the regular person, basically.
You basically just said your Ted Bundy example in a more complicated way.
Yeah, I understand what I just said. Yeah, but we'll see what happens.
Right.
Cool. Why don't you just sit next to Jack if you want to speak?
Yeah, pop in.
Yeah, come
Yeah.
talk a little bit.
Come cuddle.
I want to say what you say.
Just let me say what I want to say. Why are you guys limiting me?
Right. So you were saying just now.
There's like the whole thing of the reason too why people have a different viewpoint of life too in a small group of people. That's why it's disconnected from the whole mass of one whole thing, is because people that have like a genetic brain issue, like serial killers with the frontal lobe being turned off, they commit murder like it's nothing, like it's stealing candy from a baby. It's like it's the same kind of act. There's no really like right or wrong with it. It just kind of is. So of course that group's gonna do something that's completely wacky because they don't really understand that how wacky it really is. To them, they feel right and satisfaction from it. Like, do I think it's right? No. Do I think it happens? Yeah, it happens because that's a genetically older thing. So I think there's a big group of everyone in one big group that's like common and normal, and then you have like these subgroups of different groups that have like either like PTSD or different types of brain malfunctions or genetics, whatever you want to call it, that make them different than the other groups, which makes subgroups of other groups. So you're going to have one big, huge group that all thinks the same, and then you're going to have all these subgroups around that bubble of the big one. So, yeah. So do I think it's an objective world? Sure, to that one person in that subgroup. But is it like in the big mass of like that one group? Probably not. So
You don't think there are trends across human biology?
no, there is trends, but but like eventually the trends just die out with one person. Like eventually that person's going to stay in that bubble. Is not going to keep moving forward.
Why aren't there people that are 8 feet tall?
That's just genetics. That's
So is behavior and morals.
That's genetics with oxygen levels of the atmosphere. That's why like the dinosaur existed, because O2 levels were through the roof during like the dinosaur or whatever you want to call it era. Like these are like environmental situations of why these things happen in genetic things. Like the things why dinosaurs were 10 feet tall, or not 10 feet tall, like 100 feet tall, whatever you want to call it.
100.
whatever you want to call it. Like,
I meant, yeah.
but like it's because they had like they had endless amount of food kind of thing like that, and they also had the oxygen levels were through the roof because there was no fires. There was there's fires, but like there wasn't no like so much carbon and stuff like that in the air to help pollute
I think those reasons like you're using to explain why dinosaurs were so big, you can use similar scientific reasons to explain why people commit murders that are outside of that person's control.
Sure. If you want to use oxygen levels as a way of doing that, I don't think that's like what I'm using is a sense of the environmental of the planet changing. What you're saying that could be the same thing, not really, because we're talking about brain function versus
the environment. So like amount of oxygen in the environment is different than amount of glutamate in the amygdala?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
I think it's all chemical. I mean, it's the same thing to me at the end of the day.
I mean,
it's the amount of chemical in a space.
But like, what's the difference between oxygen and whatever you just said? Glucose.
One leads to aggressive actions.
Yeah.
And the other leads to big dinosaurs.
Yeah, so there's a big difference between what you just said. Like,
yeah, but my point is there are factors that explain these things that are outside of people's control.
Yeah, that has to do with genetics and like.
This is just a nature versus nurture discussion now.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's
my
like
bad.
Epigenetics and all that.
What? Where did we go?
Yeah, like, we're talking about free will. Where did I go?
Yeah.
No, but you're saying like, so you're saying go back to your example of the 10 out of 100. What were you saying with that?
With like people?
Yeah.
Yeah, so say like 100 people that are not the exact same as me, but have at least the same thought and moral as me. And let's say like that's like the normal big group kind of thing like that, like regular people. Then you have these subgroups that have like genetic modification, genetic issues, or PTSD, or all these other different mental health issues, or different cultural views and all that. Like you go to other places in the world, there's like 100,000 people that believe in the Greeks that's still alive, that they believe Zeus and all that are still around. They think like their science is based off of Zeus and all those gods. So you have like those different subgroups that are not like involved in the big group of people. You're going to have these subgroups that have different morals and different everything just because they've been contained in a smaller bubble for their whole life and they have not been exposed to the big mass group of thoughts and feelings. But like there's just those groups that will never be able to get there because of different things, like serial killers that will never understand why they can't just kill someone.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I was saying. But
so we just think. Go to fucking thing.
Oh, I was completely thinking about Jack's points.
Were you really?
Yeah, I was just coming up with why I thought it was wrong, but
I think what I wanted to ask you was, do you not think that there are constants across all those people? They have these different bubbles that they grew up in, which led to different beliefs. Do you think there are things that are constant across those people, that are the same across those people?
So basically, atypicalness versus typicalness.
yeah,
so
you have people that bleed red. That's a common thing across the whole board.
Yep.
And you have people that breathe oxygen. It's a common thing across the whole board. You have the similarities that you can never be without, of course, but there's also the thoughts and feelings that muddle that whole thing up.
Do you think there's some similarities in like how the brain works across those people that cause them to have the same thoughts or same feelings? Because everyone experiences sadness.
Well, that's what I was just saying before. Like with serial killers, the frontal lobe's off, so of course they're gonna have all the same kind of thoughts and feelings in that regard because they're almost the exact same person with their thoughts and feelings. Like you talk to someone like Jeffrey Dahmer, Ted Bundy, like all these people that are like serial killers, they all had the same thing. Like, why'd you do it? Don't know. Like why'd you kill him? I don't.
Or they think they know.
I couldn't understand.
Yeah.
Like they give these awful examples. Like, well, this guy told me to do this, and this guy said that, and God talked to me, and it's like almost all the same thing. Of it makes no sense, and the core of their understanding. That's why the people study these people for so long, because the one thing that's so mysterious about them is they don't understand what happens when that person, like, because there's people that can go their whole lives, where there's a professor that did a whole study and did a whole group of people, like a bunch of people, and he was trying to find one person that's a sociopath in the whole group, and he did a whole study and he found out that he was a sociopath. But he had a wife, kids, whole family, everything like that, but he had the same like feelings and thoughts as Ted Bundy, but didn't act upon it. So I mean, like,
there's a lot of things that go into it.
Yeah.
Right, for each individual. Yeah.
So it's all
subjective. Is that what you're trying to say? Like in all?
no, it's just kind of like in that small group they have their morals of this is what it is, kind of thing like that. And you have this group of people that believe in the Greek gods, like the world is because of this and this, that. But there's a whole group of people, like the majority of people, that are like the world runs like this, and that's just how it's gonna be. And a lot of people disagree with it because of their different thoughts and feelings. So
I have the ultimate question, which will determine how you fall in this debate.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that there are things like that are common in everyone?
Wait,
Like,
what?
do you think there's feelings related to like things that people feel like in this religion or that religion or this belief? Do you think there are things within those that everyone has to some degree, like the golden rule, for example? Do you think there's things that everyone has built into us, or at least the capacity built into us?
Sure, you can say fight or flight,
Adrenaline.
That's one thing.
Off topic, there's an interesting study where they took mice and they like stimulated a very specific group of neurons in these mice. And there are two groups of neurons right next to each other. And they had another mice in the cage. They stimulated one group. The mice would, every time, attack the other mouse like they were trying to kill it.
Yeah.
Right? Like destroy it. The neurons right next door, they'd stimulate those, and they would try to mate with whatever's in the cage. You know what I mean? So, and this is reliable. They could stimulate this set of neurons in any mouse, and it would react the same way. And I'm sure if those were humans, they'd have thoughts to go along with it, or confusion about, like, I don't know why. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we all have that pathway in us.
No, I'm not saying that's not.
And that's why I think there is objective, at least through the lens of humans and human biochemistry. I think there is objective morality
I just think that
in humans, in the human brain.
So it's a.
Sorry.
Do you mind if I go real fast?
Yeah.
So it's like objectively, like whatever our instincts are, then it's objectively right to do our instincts.
Universal instincts. I'm not saying right. I'm not making any claims about right or wrong, but I'm saying our universal instincts that are across everyone. I would call those objective, moral intuitions.
So they're right. They're correct.
No, I don't mean objective. I don't mean it's correct.
Oh, all right.
Correct for
so
biology
they're not
and
right,
fitness.
but they're just there.
Correct in biology and fitness. Correct for our evolution as a species, but that doesn't mean anything in the universal sense. You know what I'm saying?
All right. I thought you were trying to say like those are like right, like it's right to.
It's kind of like I'm saying that through a Darwinian lens. Kind of.
So if it's right to follow evolution, then it's right to do that. Yeah.
Well,
not
follow.
Necessarily.
I'm not saying it's right. That's what I'm saying. It's right by evolution standards.
Okay.
Not by like how we should conduct our society.
All right. So it's not. It has nothing to do with like objectively right. It's just something that you're saying something about biology, right? Then.
Well, it's real. I'm saying the moral intuitions are real. That's what I'm saying. They're not completely subjective. Some of them are real. That's my point.
Like the moral so the moral intuitions are real, but not morally right. They're just real, as in everyone's going to experience them.
The intuition, yes.
So they just are.
Yeah, they're not
That's
actually right or wrong. They just are.
Like, I'm saying hypothetically, I don't think this is necessarily the case. I think it's more complex than this. But I like to think about there's like a moral. I mean, this is totally pseudoscience. This is not the truth. But there's like a moral circuit. You know what I mean? I think there's a morality circuit.
You think there's a
across
morality
people
circuit?
and humans. You know what I mean? That's the way I like to think about it. It probably isn't. It's probably more complex than that. But I don't think it's completely. I think there's some things that remain constant despite culture and society and all that.
I think when you're saying there's some things that like remain constant, yeah, sure, there's a few things that remain constant, but those are more like physical things and sometimes mental things. But you're kind of trying to put a label over behavior in some sense. Like there's people that just do things to do. There's not really like a.
Well, it's all mediated through biology.
Sure, but I mean, murder, is that mediated through biology? At
Yes.
that point?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, he's not going against our point, by the way, or my point at least. It's just with it.
Yeah.
It's just a different lens.
I mean, something has to activate the neurons for you to kill someone. You know what I mean? That goes through biology. If you don't have the neural activation,
But
you're
it's
not going
not-
to pick
it's-
up the gun.
yeah, but it's not like morally real. It's just like biologically real into the point.
I think moral intuitions
But
are
when you say
biologically real.
when you say biology,
Yeah.
when you
I
say
would
when you say biology, I'm thinking like it's built in our DNA to kill. Like, you know.
Well,
Like,
no, it depends on the environment, and like it's informed because gene expression is determined by
You
environment.
said there's something in our DNA that makes us kill?
That gives us the capacity to kill, certainly.
Yeah, for sure.
Really?
I mean,
You could kill me right now.
Why did
I'm
God
just saying,
give us the
you
kill
could kill me.
DNA? I could.
You know what I'm saying?
I will.
That's my point. You know
I
what
don't
I'm
know
saying?
if
Like,
it's something in our DNA, but I think it's our free will. We
Yeah.
have free will to do whatever we want.
Mm-hmm.
we got a part 3 coming up.
Oh no!
Oh my god!
Jack's so upset.
Oh yeah, what do you think? Hold on, Bria, what do you think? Right?
What?
She just opened a can of
Alright, hold
worms.
on.
She wasn't ready.
I'm just gonna
for
give
it.
you like a quick one. I'm not gonna go any more
What did
deeper
she
into
say?
this.
What did
Okay.
she
Right,
say?
where it's like, all right, right. So God knows everything, right? He knows past, present, future,
Yeah.
and He also gives you free will, right?
Yeah.
So if He knows your future, how are you impacting it with free will?
Because he gives us the choice to do what he thought
Yeah, we never tried.
or to make our own path.
But He knows exactly what you're going to do.
He
Meaning
knows the
that-
two options. He doesn't know which one you're going to follow.
Oh, so he's not all knowing.
He's all knowing, but there's different options. Free will.
What? It seems illogical, right?
You
can
God
either
illogical.
Take the cookie or not take the cookie.
Uh huh.
There's two ends. You
So
take
he
the
can
cookie or
see-
not take the cookie.
He can see both paths, but he doesn't know.
Dude, it's
which
the story of Adam and Eve, really, in the sense of here's the apple,
Yeah.
and you're in Eden, and here's the apple.
Yeah, but-
you bite the apple, Eden's gone. If you don't bite the apple, then like you're staying in
Yeah,
there.
but-
and Adam it was Adam, right? That did it.
Eve.
one. It was definitely Eve.
Damn women.
Thanks a
Ruin
lot.
everything.
Oh, my night's ruined.
But the thing is,
Ever
with-
since you brought up Adam
But
and Eve,
it's
your
what
Reddit
she just
post
said.
today.
It's like with Eve. Eve decided to bite the apple, which then destroyed her whole
Yeah.
her whole
Yeah.
beautiful
But-
world
but-
she lived in.
yeah, but God
So there was-
knew
but-
she was going to do that.
No, like
She didn't.
it was the option of both. He knew both pathways, and she chose the pathway that was put out for her. And that was because God. I'm not religious, but I'm just defending Brie. Like God gave her options, and she chose the option that didn't best suit her, and that's not up to him because that's her free will doing
Yeah,
that.
God doesn't want to force you to love him. He wants you to choose to love him.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. But he knows what you're going to do. Or no.
He knows the options. He doesn't know which one you're going to do.
So then
Yeah.
he's not all knowing.
But
Yeah,
he
he
knows
is all-
either option.
Matt,
Yeah, but he doesn't know which one you're going to
Matt,
choose, right?
He knows all the options, so he is technically all knowing at
No,
that
but he
point.
doesn't know which one you're going to choose, right? Does he know which one you're going to choose?
No, but it's either or.
Yeah, but there's something he doesn't know then, right?
I guess because
Yeah.
it's free will. Yeah.
All right. So then he's not.
She's gonna assault you.
I'm going to get assaulted.
She's gonna beat you
Yeah,
up.
I would.
Then it's not all
walk
knowing.
home quickly tonight.
Then it's not all knowing, right? Because it can't logically consist.
Sure. Yes. Sure.
All right. So God is not all knowing. That's at least that.
You're such an ignorant guy for saying that. I hope God strikes you.
If I get stricken down right now, I will just start believing. If I get hit by lightning,
this guy over here
There's
is
not a
like,
cloud in the sky.
dude,
to get struck.
your whole argument was, God ain't real. I win.
it's just as real as my spaghetti monster that I
Oh,
just made
dude.
up.
I can try to take down free will for you, Bree, if you'd like.
Oh no.
We're gonna
No.
take down. Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
because
there's an easy.
There's something in our brain that's gonna make us do the decision, so it's not really free will.
She's on to me. You must have read my notes.
Oh, yeah. How'd you know?
That's one of the arguments is kind of more biological. One of them is more like it's kind of like the ones Kiskin uses, which is so someone's like, okay, I could choose vanilla ice cream or chocolate ice cream, right? What makes you pick the vanilla or the chocolate?
God.
Okay.
God did.
Well, yeah, you're conscious, so God's real. What? You know that, right?
I mean, okay, so let's say
Breeze. What's wrong, Bree?
Why?
Yeah. God did.
so basically where I was going with that
Yeah.
was so if you want to pick the chocolate, right? You like chocolate. Chocolate's your favorite.
I hate
right?
chocolate,
Okay, I'm just saying hypothetically, vanilla.
but I chose chocolate.
Hypothetically,
Okay.
you play League every day.
But the thing
You
that
get
made
yourself, you just
you
wanted to
the
take
thing that made you
chocolate?
choose chocolate because you like chocolate is
I hate chocolate, but I chose chocolate. What's your point?
that's still rooted in something that was beyond your conscious choosing. Because there's not a single neuron that fires in your brain that isn't a result of other neurons before it, which are influenced by events out of your control.
Pull my brain out and then just make choices and see what happens.
All right, so basically what he's trying to say is the universe is based off of cause and effect, and therefore you're uncontrollable.
Yeah, because everything has a preceding cause. And
Although I think
genetics is a big part of that. Environment.
That's like me blinding and it's like me putting a blindfold on and earmuffs on and then just grabbing two containers and saying, I like this one because of the size difference, and saying it just doesn't.
Well, it's rooted in things that are.
But that's like me saying like you're gonna pick the one you like because, technically you would know because your neurons say this is the right choice and it's rooted. It doesn't matter. Like you just pick what you pick.
Yeah.
There's no
It's influenced by things out of your control. Is my point.
But what I was saying was like you're still like you're going blind and deaf and grabbing something. There's no what neurons at that point is.
There's going to be something that made you pick left or right, regardless. Here, let me just give you the okay. So any behavior.
Bree agrees with me.
I'm going to do some basic math. I'm going to do step by step. Tell me if you agree.
That's what she is. She's agreeing with me, right?
It doesn't mean a single
Say
thing.
yes in the mic.
Yes, I
See?
am.
And Bree, listen to this. I'd like to hear your
I'm listening.
Okay, it's a little equation. So I think your behaviors, one's actions,
Yeah.
what you will to do,
Yeah.
is determined by two things. Okay.
You see how he said he thinks?
You think?
Okay, whatever.
No.
You have
You got him good.
your genetics, right? The body and the DNA you're born with,
Yeah.
and you have the circumstances you're born into, the
Oh,
family, the town, everything. And those two things come together, and then down the line, you're going to behave a certain way because of the way those things interacted.
Yeah.
Right? Do you agree with that?
Sure, in some sense. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
agree.
I mean,
So,
like that's like me saying like if I grew up around drugs my entire life, am I gonna just do drugs because of that? No, it just mean that.
No, it's not. It's not a point A equals point B. It's like point A equals point C D E F
there's
I.
all
Like there's like
potentiality.
so many
Like near
different
infinite.
possibilities.
Exactly. There's all these possibilities with different likelihoods of happening depending on either your genetic predisposition or your environment.
Mm-hmm.
My question to you, do we choose our genetics?
No, we don't choose our
Do we
genetics.
choose our circumstances?
In some sense, yes, we do.
How? Give me an instance in which you
change
pick.
your life.
Yeah,
Just
you
because
can
you're
in
born-
circumstances
Yeah, but you didn't-
you can change that.
But what
It-
makes you change is something that's in you before.
Right. All right. So like, say, all right. Can I give a hypothetical? Right.
Yeah.
Say I'm like some guy. Right.
I'm trying to think about what he just said.
I'm some guy I'm some lazy guy. I don't have a job or anything. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in your view,
Describing yourself.
We know.
Can I say a hypothetical, or do you want to?
you could just say it if you want.
Okay, this is like the most simple of simple hypotheticals in what Jack is trying to say, and Kiskin. You chose the Eastern. You chose to go to Eastern because of your environmental factors and probably partially your genetics.
No, I chose Eastern because of the opportunity they gave me through a program.
Which
Yeah,
is an
did you-
environmental factor.
Yeah, did you choose to make that program?
No,
Did you make it?
but if the program wasn't there, would I still pick Eastern at that point?
Well, that's the environmental factor. That's what you just said.
I picked Eastern because of a program that gave me an opportunity unlike other colleges. How does that have anything to do with my genetic?
It has to do with the fact that your
Predisposed.
choice was determined by things outside of your control.
So money was outside, like
Everything.
Yeah,
Everything.
yeah. That makes sense to some regard, but like I could have still gone to a different school.
Yeah.
I feel like it just makes it more likely. Like there's a 99% chance you chose Eastern because of the money, but there's still that 1% chance that you could have went anywhere else.
Yeah,
But,
right, hold on. Can
what is the money, though? What is the money, Liam?
the step cap.
Yeah, what is it?
What do you mean? What is it?
It's an environmental factor.
Yeah, of course it's an environmental factor, but does it mean is it the ultimate factor? No.
There's a
Hold
lot
on,
of
can I
factors.
can I
Yeah.
can I ask a question that would probably make it really easy for everyone to understand? Is right.
We gotta wrap it up.
Said
soon.
no philosopher ever.
we just so you understand, we have to wrap it up very soon.
Sure.
Okay.
All right. Right. If I knew every single thing ever,
Yeah.
I'm omniscient.
Okay.
All right. I know every neuron in your brain, how it interacts, everything you've ever been through, all of these things, what's going to happen, then, what the wind is, every single variable.
Yeah.
Could I predict your next move with 100% certainty?
No.
No?
Nope.
Might.
I would say aside from quantum variation, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just say you possibly could if you do every possibility and every variable.
If I knew every variable.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, obviously at that point, it's like me saying, like, if I had all the answers to the test, would I
Yeah.
pass the test? Yeah, you would.
Yeah. So, so then, right? Then you'd say that your choice is knowable before you make it.
No,
What?
I wouldn't say that.
Why? If you had every variable ever, you said you'd probably be able to make the choice.
Oh, you're talking about if I knew everything beforehand? Yeah, that would probably
So
be
that
the
means,
case.
right, there's at least a physicalist element to where you know every variable, and anything that you're trying to actually choose is in a physical sense, meaning it's not like supernatural that you're able to choose something.
Sometimes
so
you don't know every variable.
I said that you did. Like
In hypothetical.
in the
In
hypothetical.
a hypothetical, okay, but in reality, you don't know every variable.
And that's
Yeah,
why we
I agree.
see free will. But if, you know what I mean? But if what he's saying is if we had all of the data, everything, we knew everything, we would know. Right? Because those things are what determine how you act.
Right. So then I could analyze you, and I know every decision you're ever going to make ever again. You think that's possible? If I knew everything.
You know my position.
Yeah. What about you?
If
Barry?
you knew every possibility, sure, you would know the
No,
possibility.
I don't know the future. I
Okay.
just know every variable ever.
Up until this point.
Yeah.
Up until
Okay.
this point.
Yeah, I get that point, yeah.
And would I be able to guess, or not guess, know 100% certainty what you're going to do next?
No.
No?
I think there's always that 1% chance that I just go completely off the rails.
Why? If I calculated everything.
You calculate everything, you cannot be 100% sure.
Well, this goes back to the real thing.
Yeah.
We're about to
But-
wrap it up.
I mean, but the 1% certainty, right? We get that 1% through calculations that there's going to be a 1%, right? But I'm just saying, so like there's like a 1% chance because there's 99% chance for another thing, right?
Yeah.
Now, where does this 1% chance come from if we're calculating every variable?
Well, you said you're calculating what's most likely, right?
Think of it.
There's still other
Oh,
options.
I'm saying let's say 99% chance you stay sane, 1% chance you go off the rails, like you said.
Yeah.
If you were to go off the rails, there are things that would explain you going off the rails
Yeah.
that are outside of your control.
Yeah, but I was saying that like he put all his marbles in me staying sane.
Yeah,
I'm
then I
saying there's
miscalculated, right?
Yeah, that's just a miscalculation at that point.
I didn't know all the variables. At
Yeah,
that
true. He missed the variable which made you more likely to pick that 1%.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
You know? So then, therefore, through all these factors, we don't have as much choice that we'd actually like. or
Not
any
one
choice.
neuron fires absent of signaling from the environment. The cells around
All
it.
right,
etc.
and this isn't like truth or anything, by the way. This is just our opinions.
Yeah, but it's right.
Wow. All right, well, this has been the Lounging Around with your host, Liam Saranich, my co-host, Bree,
Good night.
Matt,
Hello.
and Jackie.
Thank you guys, very fun.
Good night.
Right there, mate. You're listening to the Lounging Around podcast. Stick around for more.